the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs. I wanna make moves, call the shots like the boss. I wanna love like I never lost.
Welcome back to Desertwood Days. I am so excited to introduce our next guest to you. She may have some very important information for you or your family. Let's welcome Regional Vice President Sherry Bass for Primerica. Hello there.
Hello, Kathy. How are you?
Great. Good to see you.
It's great to see you.
Yes, always. Miss Sherry, how's it been?
It's been great. And you?
Good. Well, I'm so excited to have you on here. I've heard your spills and your presentations in regards to Primerica, and I thought it would be a great idea to have you on the show because, you know, we're an entertainment show and we see so many different people, and a lot of the entrepreneurs are individuals out there that may not have benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Or they don't know how to get the benefits or what's the best benefits. So I thought you would be a perfect person to come in and let's just have a talk about that.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So tell us, first I'd like to have our audience know a little bit about my guest, feel like they know you like I do. Where are you originally from?
So I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
And I've lived in several states, but I've been here in Arizona for 11 years.
Okay. So Primerica, you're the regional vice president, and this is financial or?
Yes, I'm a financial advisor. I'm a regional vice president. Actually, we have probably about 50 regional vice presidents, if not more, in Arizona.
Oh, okay. What was it that got you into that industry?
Well, actually, I had just moved to Maryland from California, and I was introduced to Primerica. Actually, life insurance was what attracted me to Primerica. It's not that I said, I want to grow up selling life insurance, but the understanding the need for life insurance because I had a daughter, and the education part of what Primerica does is what really attracted me to this business.
That is awesome. And I know we have spoken several times about life insurance and what that actually means for an individual. And is that the best way to go, the best route to go? It may be for someone. What are your thoughts on that?
When we take a look at life insurance, it's like our last love letter. Really. Life insurance is designed to replace an income in the event of an untimely death. And so what we look at is, okay, if I had passed away yesterday, if I transitioned yesterday, would my family still be able to maintain their current standard of living?
Right.
And if not, then we want to provide the life insurance to make sure that there are no changes in the way they live when I'm gone.
Right. And that was the reason why I wanted you to come on and talk about that because let's say filmmakers, a lot of filmmakers or musicians, their goal is to do that full time. They're out there trying to do that full time, and they may be doing part-time jobs where they don't have benefits or things to cover their families. So how would you get someone, what would you do to get them coverage? I mean, how does that all work?
So one of the things that we do is called a financial needs analysis. And it's really like a GPS, it's a roadmap. So we find out where they are, where they want to be, and then we create that roadmap for them. So looking at their need for life insurance, then we see what their needs are. The other thing we have to take a look at is what's a comfortable amount for them. Because what we don't want is someone saying, okay, I'm going to get it, and then a year later they say, I can't handle it.
Right. That makes total sense. And someone with a family, let's say a family of 4, is there a certain amount you guys would set them up with or recommend? I mean, is there a recommendation for that?
So we look at their income. So our recommendation is they should have at least 6 to 10 times their annual income
Okay.
in life insurance to replace it. So let's say that we have a person that's making $50,000 a year,
Uh-huh.
right? And 10 times that is 500,000 in coverage. So had they passed away, then that family will get $500,000,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay.
That 500,000 at a 10% return will give that family $50,000 a year. So what we've done is replace their income.
Okay. Yeah, get that family covered because we're seeing way too many times where individuals are out here in our communities doing GoFundMe's and other types of things like that to raise money to bury their families. What is it that you think that's preventing individuals from getting this type of coverage?
I think it's education. Like when we put our families in a position of grieving and begging,
Mm,
because that's what a GoFundMe is,
right.
right? Then that's more stress for them.
Yes, it is. Yes,
And
it
so
is.
just having being able to sit down with someone to
Mm.
have the conversation, what are my needs? Where am I right now? What can I afford right now? And then I can move towards what I actually need.
So with Primerica, and let me know if I'm still going too deep into it. Is it totally life insurance? There's other pieces that goes along with that as well, isn't there?
Most definitely. So we are a full service financial services company. So we do investments. We have senior health plan.
Okay.
As far as investments, we do IRAs, 401ks, 403bs,
Mm.
SEPs, annuities, managed accounts, auto and homeowners,
Oh, wow.
just the whole gamut.
So
So when you sit down with a representative, we're going to look at the total package, the total picture for you and your family.
right, so you can have it all up under one umbrella,
Most
taking
definitely.
care of the family, taking care of the home, the cars. Just have it all taken care of under one umbrella, which is nice. And I'm sure when you're doing it that way, there's a savings there as well.
Well, as far as the investments,
Mhm.
uh, well, we're working with different companies, so we've partnered with different companies
Okay.
to
Okay.
offer each of those plans.
Okay. So Primerica, a lot of times you are hearing individuals, they're thinking it's something other than what it is. And how do you address that? Because that's a big thing, and I think we have that conversation about also. I mean, you have the whole insurance, the term insurance, and that's the thing, people don't know the difference in those things as well. But when they think of Primerica, they think it's this thing out here that I don't want to say untouchable or shouldn't be touched or is not real.
Hmm.
And what do you say to people that has that thought of Primerica? How do you change that, or what do you guys do to change that?
I think it's education, right? I have been a part of Primerica for 34 years. And it'll be 35 years in December. And so prior to that, I didn't know anything about insurance. What I did know was Mr. Tony. Mr. Tony was my grandmother's insurance man.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We all had
And
a Mr.
what I know
Tony.
about Mr. Tony was that he brought us candy when he came to pick up the insurance money. That was it, right? So I knew that my grandmother had insurance, my mother had insurance, so I got insurance. But I wasn't educated about insurance. And so when we take a look at Primerica, we have the same licenses as all of the other companies. So I have my life insurance license, my health license, auto and homeowners, my investment license, my 6, 63, 26, and 65 licenses. So I am able to then sit down and go through all of those services with families to help them. So it's really education.
Yes, that's true. And it really is so much to it because, like you said, everyone had a Mr. Tony. Because I remember the little man used to come to my mom's house all the time as a kid. And as we grew up, he actually disappeared. I didn't see him anymore. They stopped coming around. They don't come out anymore. But we all had a Mr. Tony that would come around during the day, and we would only see Mr. Tony when he was coming to collect the money. There wasn't a time when he come and let's revise this and let's go over what happens here if you lose a family member, or we didn't know any of those things. So as the generations grew, that information was transferred to us. So there's a lot of information that we can learn from Primerica and other agents, companies like yours.
Most definitely, because when we take a look at what our goals are, right? We want to create generational wealth, but how do we do it? We want to protect our families,
Right.
right? But how do we do it?
Right.
We want to make sure that we have the proper coverages, but how do we do it?
Right.
And so having a professional,
Mm.
someone that you can go to, someone that you can communicate with and that you feel comfortable with. I have clients, I have 3 generations of clients, because I believe that having relationships, it's important to have relationships with your clients.
We're talking about the importance of having some coverage to cover your family just in case something happens to your loved ones. And as you know, we've been through COVID, and people lost a lot of people. There was a lot of losses here, and people are still going through things right now. Do you think that is something, I mean, are we were we ready for that as far as coverage and things like that? Did you see how did that hit us here in Arizona?
When we take a look at the deaths that took place in Arizona, well, all across, right? There are a lot of people that were uninsured or underinsured.
Right.
Right. And so it is important for us to have a plan. The other thing is that the impact that COVID left on us, there are many people, unfortunately, now that will not qualify for life insurance.
Right. Because COVID caused some medical issues.
Most definitely.
Yes, and that's something that people aren't talking about. Some of the health problems that it created.
Most definitely.
Yes, that is very true.
And so we want to get coverage. We want to have coverage. Like if you have it on your job, you should have it separate from your job.
Right.
Something that you own, that you get to carry with you.
Right.
Because the other thing is, if a person is working and then they are off sick, the question is, does my life insurance coverage go with me?
Right.
What happens if I am off sick? I'm not working, so are they going to continue to pay for my life insurance coverage?
Right.
Do I have life insurance coverage?
Right.
And most times it's a no.
Right, and that's a lot. That's a lot to think about. You know, as a head of your household, I'm going to say, and you're faced with all these other things in your head, to even worry about all that is a lot.
That's right.
And one of the things I want to touch on, Sherry, is that having this coverage, talking about the conventional life insurance, what happens to that money that's supposed to be saved up here for the individuals in these policies? When is there supposed to be a cash value?
Okay, so with us, we only offer term insurance.
Oh.
Our philosophy is buy term insurance and invest. Insurance is in the event of. Life insurance in the event that someone passes away. Auto insurance in the event I'm in a car accident, right? Health insurance in the event I am sick.
Right.
And so those should be separate from the money that we need.
Right.
And so having the investments, if we need money, we take money from our investments.
Right.
So we do separate those two.
Right. So, Sherry, even though we're sitting here, we're talking about all the things that consist of having coverage. As far as the financial person yourself, I know that you go out and you do speaking engagements. You also do private parties. Tell us a little bit about your private party.
Yeah, so I do in-home parties. We come up with really creative names fun, food and finance, cupcakes, coffee and conversation, wine, wings and wealth, women, wine and wealth.
Oh,
So we just come up with really catchy names, and this is a good way to, if it's just your friends or
right.
just doing something with your family, bring a group of them together, and then we just have a money conversation.
Right. And it loosens them up. It's more casual.
That's right.
Right. I like that. So do you come up with all these names yourself?
No, I'm sure. I know I got some of them from somebody else.
That's awesome. I love that. So you're getting the word out there. I mean, you're doing all these private events. You're Miss Tony going into the homes. Miss Tony is knocking on the door, going to your homes, having parties, and teaching our families and our children about our generational wealth and taking care of themselves and their family. And I love that you're doing that because I have to say I'm so tired of seeing GoFundMe's for someone that's passed away. That's just and it's gone overboard. People are creating GoFundMe for individuals that's not even related to them, collecting money. It's just getting crazy with it. It's just a scam. So even though you're doing the in-home, you also do other types of functions, you speaking engagements on this. So that shows how important this is. Because Mr. Tony wasn't getting out doing all of this.
Right,
So
right.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, actually, just a couple of weeks ago, I was a panelist and a roundtable facilitator for Take the Lead in
Okay,
California.
congratulations.
Thank you. And I've spoken with, and you've had her on your show before. I've spoken at Felicia Davis's events, several of her events.
Yes.
American Express
Okay.
had me come out and talk to them. So just different companies, I can go in and we have the conversation about uh, protecting our income,
Okay.
which is life insurance,
Right.
and creating wealth,
Right.
and putting plans in place to eliminate our debt. So just a
Right.
money conversation.
Right. What advice would you give to that person that's sitting here looking at this and still has doubt?
When I look at, if I may,
Yes.
scripturally, Proverbs 13:22 says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Right? In Proverbs it says that we should not be a slave to the lender. In Proverbs it says that we should be like the ants storing up in the summer for our winter. And so if a person from a biblical place is looking at should I have life insurance, right? So how do we leave an inheritance if we've not created one?
Right.
Right? So when I look at the biblical side of that, if we're not looking at the biblical side of that, what would you want for the people that you leave behind? So, like, there was a time I had a conversation with a young lady. She had 5 young children, and she didn't have life insurance. And so I asked her, if you had passed away yesterday, who would take care of your children? And she said her parents. So my question was, do your parents know that you don't have life insurance? Because they should know.
Right, they should know that.
Because then that puts them in a position of grieving and begging.
Because times have changed. There was a time when our grandparents may have insured the kids. Okay, so times have changed. The grandparents they're not big mamas anymore, so they're not playing that role of insuring all the kids in the family. I mean, our grandparents used to do things like that. But nowadays, it's just like we're just living. But we're forgetting that we still have to cover our families.
Yes, yeah.
That is very important. An incident I wanted to bring up, we spoke about loss. I mean, just with the environmental disasters that's been occurring. I mean, there was on the news the other day where a house the cars, everything was destroyed here in the valley. Okay, and they're waiting on insurance. Okay, what do you do until insurance decides they want to come out and repair your stuff?
So, what do you do as far as, because are we talking about auto? I mean, homeowners
This is home and
insurance,
auto.
right?
Yes, I mean those are other cases also, which you guys have a coverage for those things.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's important to have the other side of the insurance is the investments that
Mhm.
go to money,
Right.
right? There are 3 types of accounts that we believe is important for families to set up. The emergency fund, we should have 3 to 6 months of our
Right.
income set aside for emergencies.
Right.
And then the next one, I like to call it a go-to account. It's not for an emergency, it's not for retirement, but I need to go buy a new washer and dryer,
Mm.
right? I need to go buy some new tires. I want to go on vacation.
Yes, we need that kind of money.
Yeah. So we should have 6 to 9 months of
Yeah.
our income set aside for that. And then the last is retirement, right? And we have accounts through our employer,
Right.
and then we also can have accounts outside of our employer.
Mhm. So, Miss Sherry, how can our audience find you?
They can reach me at my office, 602-774-2806. My website, www.primerica.com/slbass.
Awesome. And thank you for joining us here today at Desertwood Days, and we'll catch you next time.
Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze was sponsored by Dork Publishing. Visit them at dorkpublishing.com.